Hey everybody, it's the internet and we're a part of it again. How you doing? It's been about a week and there's things that have gone on. We're going to talk about some of them. We got the old crew back together. We got Sky Guy on the ones and the twos setting all this up for me and you. We got Monica Saceda bringing us this very nice, pristine labeled glass tabletopware, allowing me extra space to talk in between. We have next to me the very voluminous, very prestigious Darius Culpepper. Other words could probably be used to describe him, but it would not benefit me to say them as much as it would him to talk about it. We got DJ Sammy Mannequin over there in the back corner working on the ones and twos, keeping the birds at bay.
Right.
And we got myself. I'm Corey Hogger. I'm going to be sitting over on this side of the table, and I'll probably smoke some weed. And we're all going to have a little chit-chat together to break down how we're thinking and feeling about life and the week and events. So how we feeling, y'all?
Tired.
Hey.
That's fair. I mean, tired, but I did discover a new white classic, and in the form of Harry Potter. I'd never watched it before, but it's actually not bad.
Because we were good Christian children.
Yeah, we were good Christian children, and we didn't.
We broke away from the British mysticism centuries ago.
Yeah, but Harry Potter, not bad. I wish I would have. I wish I would have watched it as a kid. I do. I wish I would have embraced all of the evil magic stuff and watched, because it was actually really good. It had great story, good pacing. It had some Star Wars vibes in there. It, truly great, and
They were doing evil magic and stuff, right? Like they had in the first episode or movie episode, they had a huge ass snake in the underground.
Here's the thing. Yes, but
And he like stabbed his hand. He sacrificed blood, the sacrificial thing.
listen, here's the thing. You can't let the evil get you if you don't let the evil get you. You know what I mean? Like, it won't get you.
It's like,
it's,
having holy armor walking
Yeah.
into.
in the full armor of God, you know?
Yeah.
The chestplate of righteousness. Did you guys ever see that dude? The
these
cholo?
people don't know what any of that means.
No. No.
Oh.
Just play the righteousness. These
That's what I
people
don
don't
every time I get out of
know.
bed.
A shield of faith.
It's like
A helmet. What was a helmet?
helmet of salvation.
Yeah.
Sword of the spirit.
Yeah. And what we're on the...
Shoes of peace. This is all stuff that I know just from growing up watching Bible Man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
There's somebody
sorry.
named
Bible Man?
Oh, God, you guys don't know about
Oh, you poor kids.
No.
Y'all
You guys
Y'all don't know Bible Man?
I love how we're like talking like, oh, we're not the ones that are.
Like, dun, dun,
Like,
dun.
it wasn't like weird.
Yeah, with
Oh, I was obsessed with Bible Man though,
Yeah.
because I was just like, whoa,
Low-key.
a superhero that believes in God and uses his faith.
what a radical concept.
His faith to save the world. I'm watching this every Sunday, okay, Mom? Nothing else will play on the
Bro,
TV
yes.
except for VeggieTales and Bible Man.
Yep,
Wow.
Pretty much. Any other lightsaber and shit.
Oh my gosh. I thought he
Yeah.
was so cool, but he was like the cheesiest, like...
Oh, 100%. Very cheesy.
I feel like we should
I don't
have
think you
a
can
marathon.
have a lightsaber without getting sued by Disney or somebody, right?
Oh, baby.
You
can't
can't.
sue Jesus.
Yeah.
You can't sue Jesus. That's...
Also, it's just like, I don't really think that many people were watching for that many people to really care. Like, I don't
That
think
is
that they
true.
were
It
like...
wasn't necessarily on
They
the same
weren't,
radar.
yeah, like they weren't necessarily banging down Disney's door. Like, you know, Disney wasn't like, whoa, competition. They were like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, if anything, Bible Man was trying to get noticed by Disney.
Bro, right?
They
wanted the smoke.
They tried their darndest. But yeah.
Oh, God.
but yeah,
Anyways,
Bible Man was a thing. Real
Harry
superhero.
Potter. Bring
yeah.
it back.
Bible Man could definitely beat up Harry Potter. I just want to say that for all my
Well,
Christians
most people could.
Yeah,
I think it just goes to
insofar
the
as
same.
fighting wise,
Yeah,
Harry
I was
Potter
just
not
like-
doing nothing.
Here's
Aw.
the thing.
Doesn't he have like the death spell that he used in like a regular like he had a duel that was just a sparring duel, but then he like used some crazy ass overpowered spell to put out I guess the Slytherin dude.
Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
See, okay, so here's the thing. Here's my thing with Harry Potter. He's supposed it was, and we can talk about it. Like, it's kind of like the Luke Skywalker of that universe, where it's just like you wait for 8 movies to finally see him do anything worthwhile, and he's supposed to be this like
Everyone's fawning over him
Yeah,
for these first
like,
8 movies.
he's like the chosen one, but you don't see like the only thing that was chosen about him was his friends that always had his back. That
Yep.
people that were always he chose great people to be around him.
Yeah, shout out Hermione.
Bro, who just knew everything about
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But she
The
like
best
studied
student
for
of
all that,
Hogwarts.
right? Like she's
Well,
like
yeah.
always in the books.
Yeah, you overcompensate when you feel inadequate to those around you. So
Hard
you
work
feel
always
like,
beats talent, though. You know, that's,
truthfully. And then Ron was just loyal to a fault.
yeah.
Like,
He kept the humanity about.
yeah.
Made sure people was people.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone needs a good Ron. Although I do feel like I identified with Neville the most, if I'm being completely honest.
Neville?
And I know
That's
he's
dope.
not
He's
a
hot now, you know
he's
that?
not a favorite. Well,
Like he had a glow up.
no. Let me see.
I
Let me see what
promise
your
you.
definition
Don't-
of.
He's hot.
Don't
now.
slander
Neville.
Why wasn't he
He
got
got
then?
I mean, he got
Because he
better
was
by
a
the
shot.
end.
He was like a little fat kid.
By the end of the movies, he had gotten better. Like in the Deathly Hollows, because
Yeah, by the last movie. Yeah,
there
he
was a
on point.
theory in which Neville was actually like the chosen one, and, like because of the specifications in the spell or something, whatever happened between Potter and Voldemort could be transposed onto
I'm trying
Neville,
to see how long.
presumably.
Castless is?
All of the bullshit
I was
that
gonna say
he
that
tries to fumble
That
his
bottom
way
is for
through.
the long bottom, the Neville.
Yeah, he does fumble his way through some shit.
Oh shit. Vern Troyer was Grip Hook, the little.
Really? That's why that thing was so adorable.
You're like, that goblin is creepy, but he's like
adorable,
also kind of,
yeah.
there's something adorable about him.
Heavenly shout out to Vern
Uh-huh.
Troyer, another friend of the show.
Is that Dobby?
R.I.P. No.
It was
Grip
Mini-Me.
Hook, which was the dude who, the banker
Yeah.
goblin.
Yeah, he was.
So like he meets up with Harry when he first gets to Hogwarts. Like when Harry first gets to Hogwarts, Hagrid takes him over to the bank and he meets the little dude. And then the little dude brings him over to the bank vault door and you see Hagrid, who is a giant, next to Vern Troyer. And it's hilarious because Vern just waddles over
Dude,
there.
love Hagrid.
Yeah.
Snape, R.I.P.
Yeah, Snape was probably my favorite character.
He was just so over the top.
He was over the top. He was angry.
You know what?
But it was out of love.
Neville
Yeah.
does look
Yeah.
better. I wouldn't say hot, but he grew up better than I thought he
was like-
would.
Now who's not putting respect
they're
on Neville's
trying to
name?
like push him to look hot. He's still goofy and awkward looking, but like he got some abs and a beard. He still has a long face, like a long
And a
goofy
goofy
looking
long
face.
bottom dick. I promise you. It
All right,
all
how do you
adds
guys
up.
think Harry Potter stacks up against like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and things like that?
Well, now that it's Disney, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Basically, like you said,
Wait,
Harry
it's
Potter.
Disney now?
Yes,
Harry
because
Potter is Disney?
No,
through
no way they gave that up.
No, Harry
Basically-
Potter's Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Warner
like one
Brothers.
of their biggest.
But
You-
they're
it's
both
at
owned by
Universal.
Viacom. So like, ipso facto through the network of conglomerates and
Here's my
Yeah, but
thing.
Harry
no
Potter's
way,
not
because,
up under the Disney umbrella though.
No.
It's still very much so like Warner Brothers, and that
It's
line
the
in the
thing
sand
they're
is a
they're
it's a vivid
clinging to that.
Yeah.
That in DC is what they have. Because Universal Studios, I will say it's made me want to go back to Universal Studios and just re-experience Harry Potter World, because the first few times I went, like, it's like, yeah, I seen like a movie or two. I seen like maybe 3 of the movies, but like I didn't know enough to really be able to like appreciate it, you know, and really just like get into the mythology of it all, because I even have an interactive wand and everything, and you go on the map and you do little spells with stuff, and you see stuff float or lights up or whatever. Like,
I have that cherry red broomstick that he gets. The one with the candy
Nimbus
paint.
2000?
Exactly. It's like the Cadillac of fucking brooms. There's a bug on me.
No.
Okay.
But he looked like he jumped, so I got him.
I should have used your phone now. I would have just killed it with my hand.
Said the Yellow Ranger after him.
But honestly, having watched Harry Potter and like done some research on the fan base and things, I think that it's just as popular and prolific as Star Wars in terms of just a cultural imprint. Like, I think it
has one more movie than
is
Star
big.
Wars. So I'd say it supersedes it.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Star Wars has multiple series.
I would say on
Cartoons.
par, but to supersede it, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no.
I say they're
Star Wars
they're
has
on
the
par.
benefit of time.
Yeah.
Decades where it was basically the only mainstream option for people to get like sci-fi recognition.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone who gave a fuck about shit that was weird, Star Wars was like the only thing that could get everyone to be like, okay, this is the weird that we can accept.
Yeah.
And then Star Trek made things a little bit better on the TV. And
Yeah.
now because things have opened up so much, we get the benefit of...
Now that it's cool to be weird, is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like, now that it's cool.
Now
and
we're
people
past the
aren't-
90s and everyone got to flare out all their colors on their clothes. Everyone gets to just define their interests into whatever genre they want to find. Everyone can build upon a niche that interests them.
It supersedes. I'm just gonna keep using that word until I figure out what it means. But it kind of supersedes genre, the Harry Potter series, because it's science fiction while also being like action adventure and also being like otaku high school drama. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just kind of like you can apply that same sort of outlook to Star Wars as well. I mean, if you just
Although
look at
I
the
will say, Harry Potter feels a lot more geared towards kids, but it's something that adults can enjoy. Whereas Star Wars feels like it's geared to, like, more
But y'all
adults.
do remember Jar Jar Binks,
But-
though, right? That
Hell
wasn't
yeah.
made
That-
for our moms and dads.
But that's what I'm
That was
saying.
made
Like, they
specifically
wanted
for
A
to
New
make
Hope
it, they
had
wanted-
hope
Yeah.
to reach a more
Younger
adult
Yeah.
audience.
So it's just like, I feel like Star Wars tried to make it more like family, not like, oh, this is for the kids. It's more like, oh, we can bring the whole family, but it's really like, this is like more for the adults that grew up in the 70s and watched like the others as well.
But I
And
think
even when
ultimate-
Star Wars, the first three felt kind of, because it's just like, they had some stuff where it's just like, Star Wars, you know, it's just like, they had you thinking that like incest was cool if you didn't know who your
shit.
parents
Oh,
were. Do you
shit.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you
Problematic
think about
and
it,
shit.
yes.
You had to bring up the incest argument, didn't you?
But like think
we
about
all
it, like
hold that against Star Wars.
that's
I mean,
because they didn't know their
Against your
parents,
sister.
and that's like they didn't know.
I feel like
Yeah.
search engine analytics go like prove that it's definitely, if cool is what's popular, it's the most popular thing. And if you just Google it or go to Pornhub and just put in anything, it'll be like something step bro or whatever.
We just took a really weird left turn that I don't know I want to drive down the back alley.
I feel that.
Ultimately, I think that these things like Star Wars and Harry Potter, I think ultimately the biggest, most like fervent fan base that they have is ultimately middle-aged men, truthfully. Like, that are like in their basements and that know literally every single thing about these properties, you know, and they're probably the only people on earth that know more about it than me. So it's just kind of like, ultimately I think the fan bases get older, but initially start out as, you know, trying to be geared towards kids or the whole family. Because initially that's who is going to spend the money on all of the merchandising.
You have to
offerings.
get the parents into it enough to want to take their kids.
Truthfully.
So I think that was kind of like, with like the first three, I feel like, yes, it was like, I do think there's like adult stuff to understand in there, but it was like family friendly enough because they're not like giving you sex scenes or anything super crazy, you know what I mean? But they
Thank
do.
God.
But yeah, I was like, but they do have Leia on her hot girl shit, like, you know what I mean? And then she's making out with her brother, you know what I mean? So it's just like there's still like adult stuff in there where it intrigues you as an adult and you don't feel like, oh, like I need an excuse to come, because I know especially around that time, like it, like age appropriateness was a big thing. Like you had to grow out of, like, millennials were the first generation to just accept we don't want to fucking grow up, that it's a scam, that we've still held on to our childlike interests and feel like we shouldn't be ashamed as late 20s, early 30s to still have Marvel shit, to still have Power Rangers stuff, to still have these interests that you were into. Like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to, oh, it's time to grow up and put away the dolls, or like, oh, it's time to like put the comics away, or like, and like the definition of maturity kind of changed a little bit. And I think we as millennials were like, dude, the world in which the generations before us, the world in which they've created sucks so bad that we actually are addicted to nostalgia because we want to remember the last time we felt good about fucking anything.
Well said. 96 for me. I was 5.
I'm
It's all
dead.
downhill from there. But,
Did you sneeze like a duck when you were 5 too, or just now? Mahalo. Get on in here.
Who
We need a
was it?
guest.
Is it Clara?
Calm
No.
down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
No,
Oh.
it was not.
Skylar.
I can't see anything. I'm
You
looking at
lucky
a
I
piece of
sneeze
wood.
like a duck right now. Usually it sounds like a Wolverine, but I was trying to be polite and cute for the podcast.
A Wolverine?
You're welcome.
Not Wolverine, just a Wolverine.
Yeah, like
not-
peek out the mic.
I guess with the multiverse, but...
Yeah, with the
Bust the mic
multiverse,
open.
With the multiverse, it's multiple Wolverines and shit. So, oh yeah, they was actually talking about Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine at one point.
Ew, what?
Because in the
Why?
comics, Wolverine is about Daniel Radcliffe's height, honestly.
Isn't
Hopefully.
I feel like every superhero is like 6'2".
No, but not
Right.
Wolverine.
There's variations. Yeah, you
I
got
guess
your short
Ant-Man.
kings.
Spider-Man is like 5.
You're short.
Spider-Man's supposed to be like 5'10". In the comics,
Yo.
he's just skinny, so he appears taller.
That's cool.
But you know, but like we were speaking about like all of these intellectual properties and shit. When do y'all feel like, when is a right time to reboot something, or is there ever a right time?
I'd say immediately after the thing came out, just like Spider-Man, when they just like kept going back to back to back reboots.
Okay, so I'm detecting that you might be being sarcastic about
Oh
that.
yeah, I think it's 100% sarcasm.
Or just trying to pull our legs and be
No.
like, no, this is I'm being a contrarian.
I
Yeah, pretty
enjoyed.
much contrarian by
Did
nature.
I use that right?
Yeah, definitely.
No, but like, I think if it did well for me, I'm very much just leave well enough alone. And when it becomes that the script is dated and it didn't age well, then it's time maybe. But for me, I'm just like, are we that out of fucking ideas?
Yeah, all the energy that people put into trying to rebrandish some old concepts they could put towards making new concepts.
And it's just like, and it doesn't even, here's my thing, like, you don't have to let that movie inspire you to make something similar yet different, because truthfully, there's nothing new under the sun, and you can watch a movie and be like, oh, that was like such and such, but it's just like, you can just change the parts about it that you didn't like, or you felt was out of touch, you know?
Low-key off camera, we was kind of talking about like how there's only really 3 stories you can tell.
We deduced it's girl gets lost into Gonzo world. It's the
Hero's journey, coming of
rom-
age, and shit about
romantic comedy.
relationships. Tales is like.
Yeah.
Well, it's Shakespeare. It all goes back to Shakespeare. It's all just Shakespeare done over and over and over and over and over again. Because we have these formulas that work that people don't really like stray from. They're like, oh, this is how to tell a story, and this is why.
Well, and they feel that's the best way to relate to people, is to show them something that they've literally already seen before, but with a new light. As well, which is kind of fair, but also there is enough open space to try and find new structure to build upon.
They keep making these Star Wars movies, and it's like, make some room for those of us who are trying to make our own, who have our own Star Wars scripts that we're trying to make, you know? And like, but they just keep putting out these like Disney pop gum, mumble gum, bubble gum, pop, Disney,
Just
Mickey Mouse,
cookie cutter by the book
cookie
stories.
cutter, cookie, Disney cookie, ice cream cookies that you get at the stands when you're at Disneyland. Bullshit.
So let me ask y'all this. It's just kind of like, because we definitely are the generation that will shit on a reboot. Have y'all seen any instances where it actually works and you're like, oh, yeah, that actually wasn't bad? Have y'all seen any instances such as that?
Yeah, to have any pop up into my head, not particularly.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Mad Max Fury Road? Okay. I haven't seen it personally myself, but I do. There are some people out there that do actually swear by that movie. So
Mr.
maybe.
Popper's Penguins.
For me, it could be Sandman, the most recent Sandman. It was kind of like a soft reboot continuation type of thing, and I thought that they handled the story.
Sandman or Candyman?
Candyman, there
Yeah.
you go.
It's
Thank
like,
you. Candyman, comics on the brain, but the new Candyman. I think
That was actually, I was
a
thinking
really
about
good
that
one.
movie too. It kind of stuck with me
Because
as well.
like for the viewers that haven't seen it, it's like essentially Candyman is like the defender of the projects. It's like defending the projects which from the police, and hood superhero movies will always strike a emotional chord with me, obvious reasons, but even still, I still think that that's like an area that Hollywood rarely taps into. It's like fantastical shit happening in the hood.
Was Nicolas Cage in the first Candyman, or am I thinking of another movie like Candyman, but not Candyman?
Oh, you're probably thinking of another movie that's...
Damn. Which is the one with the bees?
Candyman.
The Wicker Man.
Wicker Man.
Oh. Candyman also
Candyman
has
has
bees.
bees. as well.
Yeah.
But Nicolas Cage was in The Wicker Man, and they put a helmet on his head, and they filled it with bees, and then you just heard Nicolas Cage screaming, "The bees, the bees!" Very Nicolas Cage style. Not the bees!
Yo, shout out to Nicolas Cage, another friend of the show. What's good, man? I'm sure he's watching. Okay, so let me ask y'all this too. Certain things people feel like should never be touched. And how do y'all feel about just the Mr. Rogers as an intellectual property,
Leave
as
it
a person,
alone. Leave it alone.
as a story?
Because no one can ever be him again. Just leave it alone. Because then what's going to come out is this new fool is just going to be touching kids.
Start raping people.
And then
just
now you're just
completely
going to destroy the name of Mr. Rogers because they were already trying to accuse him like of doing stuff he didn't do.
Did Tom Hanks, is there some news about Tom Hanks? Didn't he play Mr. Rogers in the reboot?
It wasn't a reboot. It was
just
a biopic.
Yeah, biopic, yeah.
So that's like, okay, you're
That's
paying
different.
your homage. Like,
Yeah.
that's not like the same. You
Okay.
know, like you're kind of like paying your respects essentially to him. But I just feel like just leave it alone.
So you think just because of the way that the public feels about the man and the intellectual property, because for some people I think it's hand in hand. So because of that feeling, just leave it alone and let's not try to.
Well, it's just, here's the thing. I think genuinely good people are less and less and less, especially in the entertainment industry.
True.
And it's just like, why sully the name?
No, that's fair. That's
That was,
fair.
I
What?
said sully because that's a movie with Tom
Yeah,
Hanks.
I know.
and
I
like-
caught it. I caught
Okay.
it. I caught it.
what has intrigued me about it, the main reason why I keep thinking about Mr. Rogers is just like the effort that he put into doing something that wasn't readily available, and his willingness to stick by the importance of giving a fuck about how things are presented to the audience that they're being presented to. Now, with the prospect of it being on public access television, that's kind of how I feel the internet is. Like YouTube is basically like a broadband PBS. It's got like real local aesthetics and people just kind of putting in their public opinion about things, but trying to be regulated by one of the 6 corporations that actually runs all of it. So I just appreciate the efforts that a dude put in to humanize himself and to try to engage people as people. I will say, when I was a kid, kind of freaked me out because it was just kind of like the pacing of it and the tone that he talked to, and just kind
Because
of,
it wasn't all over the place and hyper.
yeah, it just kind of brought
Yeah.
you still and just kind of sat you there and was like, hey, it's okay. We're just gonna hang out. Brings like a real casual aesthetic to it, and why I think that the reboots are hard is because after something is successful, more people want the same type of success, but for themselves. And like, because they don't actually, because then you have more opinions about how things need to move forward, it's harder to get a coherent storyline across. That's why Zack Snyder's got cut down from 4 fucking hours. And it's like, okay, man, we get that you want to tell all of it, but like, the people need to pay attention to the shiny bits. And then the shiny bits got them to be like a mediocre movie. But because there's such a weird standard that's been set by the inflation
Bless you.
of all of these superhero cinema movies, it looks like a failure when in reality it's still a fucking success. Like all of these comic book movies are successes in the sheer fact that they made them. I can't believe that they've gotten away with it for so long. We've come a very long way since the old Adam West Batman days.
We have come a long ways. We had a fucking superhero movie with a talking raccoon in it. Nobody could have foresaw that happening 20 years ago. So, no, we've definitely come a long way. And then you talked about the success of the superhero movies just being made. Now, there's some people in Hollywood that may view some of those movies as like failures, but yeah, the fact that something gets a chance to be made, get to be realized in reality, that has to be looked at as a success. But that kind of brings me to my next point. It's just like, in life there are failures and successes, but my question is like, how do y'all deal with the failures that inevitably come? Because we all are trying to do something creative. We all have our creative endeavors, and with that, failure comes along. It's just natural. So like, how do y'all deal with those failures?
Depends on what you define as a failure, though.
Yeah, but
Not meeting your own idea of what you thought you were going to achieve.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, does that still, like, that's your definition of failure? So then, that I think that kind of changes per person. Because I don't know. For me, failing.
Yeah, but what's your perspective on it?
Failing just is quitting.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time you actually truly fail is when you stop trying to do it. Like, you don't know how many times it's going to take you to learn something new or to do something new. And the only time you truly fail at something is when you quit. And that's why, and it's stupid, and it's like, that's why it's like quitters never win. And like, that's the truth, because when you quit, like you're taking that whole potential to be able to, like, yes, there are blocks and there are lessons, but that doesn't make you a failure just because you didn't pick up what you were supposed to learn yet, or you didn't succeed in the way in which you
Romanticize.
yeah. And it's just like life, I don't think is ever really what we thought it was going to be. Like nothing, like you can know and have an idea, but it does have a way of just surprising you, I think, a lot.
True.
And I think dealing with that, I think, well, I guess then just for me, dealing with failure would be more so just telling myself that I'm not done yet. Like I have not failed because I'm still alive. I still have another day to try.
Yeah.
I still can figure this out somehow. Like it's hard, and do I want to quit? Yes. Like cuz and we're just talking like just so that we're not talking solely in like hypotheticals, and like well I'll do it like a give a circumstance, like just even just moving out here to do anything, it's just like there have been certain points in my life where we kind of try, like we measure like our success based on our like financial like stability, or like where our living situation, or it's just like but like life always finds a way to happen. And I think as long as I'm still out here and still trying to figure something out, I haven't failed yet. And that's, I think, the only thing that keeps me from moving in with my mom. Because that to me would mean that I failed.
Moving back in with
I
mom.
failed at the journey in which I actually just came out. But even then, so if it came down to that and I had to do that, like, then that's just what I have to do. And now it's a matter of fighting. Yeah, unless San Andreas happens, LA isn't really going anywhere. So it's still going to be here. It's still going to be sucking souls. And if that's where life takes me, to have a break, to just slow down and like go back to the basics, and again, like we're here on the internet,
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it's easier to find people that are striving for the same things and more like-minded people out here because it's a bigger city, but this isn't necessarily something that we couldn't do in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do feel like it's hard to. It's a lot of self-talk, like because I believe it's human nature to just get down on yourself and be like, oh, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I'm failing at everything. I'm a fucking loser who just, like, I sit here and I do nothing. Like, I have no money, and, like, you really just start to get to that point where it's like, okay, but, like, what are you gonna do about it then? Like, you're not dead. You're not dead. So, like, just... and that's even my battle, even with, like, depression, when I'm like, oh, I just don't feel like there's days where you just don't want to be here. But you're like, okay, but I am, and there's really nothing that, like, I can do about that, mostly due to, like, religious beliefs. Like, I don't want to find out that, like, killing yourself, like, you end up in hell, like, you don't know, but, like, you don't know. So it's just, like, you hope, but, like, finding out the hard way is not necessarily something that I'm willing to, like, risk my eternal soul for, whether, like, they're right or wrong. I'm not really trying to gamble, because that's, like, the one thing that you just can't take back. Do you guys see this hornet? Just, like,
No, it would be fine.
Really? Because he seems angry, and he's picking a target.
No, it would be alright. It's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, he's been up there for a while.
I should probably tell Robert, because I'm pretty sure there's nests here, and we do not want that.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. It's on the...
They're up there.
So, yeah, so
go home.
Oh, was it?
Anyways, that was my long-winded answer of just saying, I guess
I
it
love it,
depends
though.
on your definition of failure.
Yeah.
I think it helps to kind of try to visualize what you want to happen. Insofar as trial and error goes,
Yeah.
that's usually been my outlook on how things work. You try something, and if it doesn't work out, you try a different variation. And if that doesn't work, you can try another one. And then if not, you got to determine if you actually give a fuck about it and you want to keep going, or you want to refocus your energy somewhere else. And a lot of people tend to just hide into like finding like one avenue where like they can figure out that thing.
Right.
And I was pretty intellectually capable of understanding problem solving, like
Right.
baseline math. Like I understand the concept of numbers and problem solving. Like if you show me an equation and I can know that it's like it's supposed to work out like that, then I can make it work out like that. Everything else, like with the English wise and cultural integration into how things are built and the abstract concepts that we formulate, very much more foreign. So I always kind of looked at it like skateboarding, and just by default, in trying to find like a place to exist and not fall under all of like the expectations of the people around you.
Right.
So I was in a small town,
Yeah.
and I knew pretty early on that I thought of things probably a bit more than everyone else.
Yeah.
And I would just like react differently in most cases, and I just had a different type of situation. Like I just had the foresight of being like, well, okay, I have an amount of self-awareness to know what things aren't probably going to work out very well for me early on. I was a very awkward dude. And while I would try to relate, even trying to relate to people still ends up in being like, all right, dude, but like, you're actually like that? And it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, I'm trying. So I learned to skateboard. And you kind of learn how to build your own identity from the literal ground up. Because it's a very simple foundation. And you can learn to augment style. Like, it was very individually stylized thing. Like everyone was it was kind of the precipice of the internet influencer era, wherein they would try to build a brand and be able to like showcase themselves in videos to other random kids who would give a shit about it and then throw themselves off the stairs.
Pretty much skating off rooftops.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say too. I think it also depends on your environment too, and who is pouring into you, and what they view as failing is then projected upon you.
Yeah. So finding the line between others' expectations and your own desires, pursuit, interests.
All of us here, for the most part, I mean, correct me if I'm speaking out of turn for you. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I feel like what I've gathered is, don't really care that much what most people think of you. Like, you're pretty content with just being who you are and like coaching. But for me,
Tori to think I look cool.
That's what I was about to say there. I feel like we are the type of people that have those handful of people that their opinion of us actually matters.
Sure.
For the general public, fuck you, I don't care. Like, I am me and I'm comfortable in myself, but there are those handful of people whose opinions of you matters. Like, for me, it would be my cousins. You know, like,
Right.
I don't want them to think I'm just like a mooch, like just like a couch potato, like just a lazy person.
Right.
Because they know in my heart I'm not. and the pandemic really just kind of slapped me in the face.
Yeah.
And I spiraled pretty deep into depression to the point where, and also I think I was burnt out because I've had anywhere like from like 2 to 4 jobs since I was 17. Like a bitch is fucking tired.
Wow.
Yeah. Like at a time, like constantly, just back to back. And if there was ever a time that I wasn't working, it wasn't for that long. It was maybe a couple weeks to like a month or two.
I've also had 2 to 4 jobs since I was 17. I worked at, I was a detailer.
Mm-hmm.
I...
You're talking in total?
Yeah.
Okay. I meant like at the same time, like throughout my life. But yeah. You were being sarcastic at.
I
You
was
were
just,
joking.
I was just having fun.
Got it. No, and then I responded like I didn't know. I was like, oh no, like I meant like at like yeah. So I thought you were trying to relate to me, and instead you were just fucking with me. Okay.
It's just hard for me to stay on topic. Like, you guys are talking about, I don't have any experience with what our topic is, you know?
Failure. He's
Yeah.
not a failure. He doesn't get it.
It just hasn't
You
come
know
up
what?
yet. And, yeah.
You know what? It must be nice to never
It is.
have
I'm
felt
gonna
like
be
you
honest.
failed. You know what? Good
My
man.
whole move is to just quit while I'm ahead and then pretend like I wasn't even trying that hard to begin with. And actually, everybody who is trying is kind of corny for even trying.
And that
at
is
all.
how you cope with failure.
Well, it just never,
100%.
it never gets, I duck it.
No.
I'm around it
Yeah,
before it even
I believe
approaches.
psychologically that actually it's avoidance.
That
Yeah.
is how that's how you deal with it. I mean,
Which is
'cause
just like-
I recognize that shit. I've done that
Because
shit
he does it
myself.
too.
Yeah. I've done that shit myself.
Very
Like,
self-destructive tendencies.
you act like you don't care. That's your persona on the outside, but inside you care the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you feel overwhelmed.
But you can't allow
because-
yourself to care because I feel like you understand that if you did care too much or you showed, it would probably be alarming to those around you.
It would definitely be
Oh,
alarming to
absolutely.
those around you. So
Yeah.
you have to push your care down.
Exactly. So it's kind of like getting the best of both worlds or whatever, because I get to be disinterested, but also low key, profoundly connecting. to others.
You get to be aloof, but on the inside there is a bit of torment there, regardless.
We see it in your eyes, Sky. You can't hide it from us. He's like, whoa. Do not come here to get psychoanalyzed, you bitches.
Yeah.
Nah, but you know, and it's just like, and even though it sucks too, because I feel like a lot of the people that their opinions do matter, like I don't know that they realize that their opinions of me actually matters, and that's probably in part my fault. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you know, the people that say stuff that you're like, holy fuck, ouch. Like my siblings, all of them, but
Yeah.
because I'm the oldest, like they just really don't think that they can say anything that can hurt my feelings.
Sure.
You know? And even when they do, I don't really tell them like, hey, that really hurt my feelings, because it's just like, they didn't really intend to hurt my feelings. And if they did, like, I'm sure they're holding on to some past trauma that I may have caused.
No.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
we'll just chop it up to even. Like, and not intentionally either. I'm just like, I'm a mean person with a kind heart, which is just like
Yeah, no, that's
soft on the
that's
inside, hard shell on the outside. Life kind of forced me to be that way. Just past, again, being the oldest child. Like, and my siblings, my sister is 1.5 years younger than me, so she was like my little homie, and I was always trying to be like a little adult. Like, I was like, oh, let me carry her around, let me change her diapers, and my mom was like, okay, like, whatever, but like, you know, and my mom went back and forth from being a single mom to not being a single mom until I was like 4.5, 5. So at that point, I had already had this, established this sense of self, you know, because we were just talking about this too, about, you know, people not understanding that the first 5 years of a child's life is when they absorb the most. That's when you're learning how to learn, you're learning how to love, you're learning how to manipulate. Like, and people excuse certain behaviors when kids are younger, or just don't realize like the indications of like, hey, this is gonna be an issue for her later on. Like, you need to nip this in the bud. But people are like, oh, they're just kids. Like,
Right.
they don't know.
Well, again, it comes down to like awareness. The level of what people even were aware of back when we were around
Oh,
5
for
years
sure.
old is very I was, that was like 92 for me. So
yeah.
it was a very limited amount of knowledge in the suburbs of northern Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, and see, now I feel like they're going the
Don't
opposite
say.
end of the spectrum, though. Like, when it comes to, like, kids, like, gentle parenting is the thing. What people don't understand is when you are letting your child, like, yes, they have feelings and they need to express their feelings. But what people don't understand is that doesn't mean letting your kids scream at the top of their fucking lungs. Because what you're teaching them is, now you're creating a Karen.
No, well, yeah.
Now this bitch is going to go out into public, and he or she is, or they are just going to lose their shit when they don't get their way, because they've been taught that it's okay to act like this.
Yeah.
Like, this is an appropriate way to express how I feel, and I'm upset, and everyone needs to care, and everyone needs to know about it. And the truth is, it's just
participation
like,
trophies that they got for kids nowadays.
like, not competitive. And it's just like, okay, now you're teaching them that mediocrity is what the goal is. Like,
Well,
let's
it's-
not try at anything. I understand competitive nature, but like, here's the thing: we're just, it's just like school. Like, they're teaching us to fall in line, not to think for ourselves, not to, like, you don't get real preparation for the real world, and the lessons that you're supposed to learn, like, people are not learning. And that's why so many people are so shitty to other people, because these are the things that aren't being taught, the things that actually need to be taught. Like, how do I function and interact with people, like, without it? And I'm not saying like, oh, I need to tiptoe around and walk on eggshells around, but politeness, yes. Like, let's learn to be civil. Like, you don't have to be overly nice,
Yeah.
and you don't have to like let people bitch you out. Like,
Just
you know what I mean? But it's,
respect is
respect for
Just
other life.
baseline respect
Exactly.
for yourself and others.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't trust when people are overly nice. Like, something that actually happened to me recently, that happened to me, and it was actual, was I went to a fast food restaurant, and the guy was overly nice, and like, to the point that it was like almost sarcastic. But like, you can't call somebody on being like sarcastically nice or whatever, because they're just doing their job, you know?
Sure.
And
It's also because you're forced in customer service to deal with shitty people all the time, so it kind of just turns on where you're just like, I
Yeah.
have a customer service voice that is alarming.
But this was like to the degree that it was obviously sarcastic, but you couldn't like call him out or whatever. So I was like, I just ended up not eating the food from the drive-thru, because I was going through the drive-thru because I drive and I have a car and stuff. So basically, I was like, I just threw it away because this happened to me.
didn't happen to you. I've seen how you enjoy food, Skylar, and
I
never
thought
have
maybe
you
he
ever
spat in
passed
it because he was so nice. I didn't trust him. And that happened to me.
Skylar, I feel like you would have still eaten it with
Just
a
eat
spit
around
in
the
it.
spit part.
Yeah.
That's all.
I stole that joke from Twitter. I saw it
Get
on
out.
Twitter.
Get out now.
I stole
We do
it.
not.
I'm dead. No,
No Twitter jokes here, man.
But if we are talking about people being overly nice, I have been called out in customer service for being overly nice. Because it's just like, she was being difficult, and so I just kept repeating myself in my high tone customer service voice, which is like, no ma'am, like, it's like, and it was over the phone, and she's like, what did she say to me? She's like, don't patronize me, blah, blah. And like, she just started going off on me. And she was like, you're being fake and blah, blah, blah. I was like, and you're yelling at me. And I have not raised my voice or changed the tone of my voice one time. And I'm trying to help you. So if you would like for me to help you out, I can, but you're going to need to stop yelling at me. And she was like, I was like, so do you want the fucking pictures of your ugly ass kid or not? Like, so
Yeah.
she was upset because she's like, I can't believe no one would take that sticker or comb his hair and blah, blah, blah. I was like, ma'am, we don't touch the kids and it's not our responsibility. It would be the school that you need to call. And she's like, I was like, we don't, for like legal reasons, we just don't touch, we don't put any hands on the kids. Like, we don't comb their hair. We give the combs to the teachers so that the teachers can do it because they already have, like, you know, and we don't adjust their clothes or anything. We asked them to, and he wanted to keep his fucking sticker on because he had earned it in school that day and he was proud of his fucking sticker. Also, the kid was ugly as shit, and I was just like, bro, it's not, the picture is still gonna look terrible because unfortunately your kid looks
ugly.
the way he does.
Fuck that kid.
I was like,
Hope you failed. Fucking
Like,
kindergarten
you
or
know.
whatever.
Here's your photos. Have a good day.
yeah, I was just like, do you want to buy them or not? Like, I don't know. Like, we can Photoshop it out for you as like, I can cover the charge of the Photoshopping if you would like.
No, you have to Photoshop
But-
her a better looking kid.
Bro,
honestly.
but that's what I was going to say. I was like,
Yeah.
but that doesn't change the fact that your kid's still ugly and Photoshop can only do so much.
That's true. Photoshop can't. Speaking of Photoshop, it kind of brings me to this next point. If y'all, and this is a question for each of y'all, if you could time travel, what would you do?
Oh.
What would you do? What would you try to prevent? What would you try to put in motion? What would it be?
I'd go forward in time.
You
No
go
one does
forward in
that
time.
shit.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Everybody
I think
goes
I would go
back.
to the
forward.
future.
Fuck,
Sure.
fuck no. I'm not. Go forward in this
Yes.
Just to keep, I just need to see when we blow
fuck
up.
No.
That's it.
You go past when you blow up. You ever see the time
I'm
Machinist?
disappointed in what your answer was, honestly.
True.
I
I'd go.
I thought you would have said go back in time to save Tupac.
Okay, I'd go
That's what I
forward
thought
in
you would've
time
said.
See, here's
to
the thing.
save hologram Tupac because that's the spirit of Tupac.
I'm so
Because
dead.
he's gonna be in mortal danger in the future, and he's gonna be the savior of.
No, bro.
It's
What
like
I'm
John
doing, what I'm
Connor.
doing, if I could travel through time, real shit. I'm going back in time and I'm saving Tupac from getting shot right on the Vegas Strip. I have a motorcycle, a ninja, most likely. As soon as I see the car pull up beside them, I'm riding up.
Yeah,
in
but
the
a
middle,
1995
and I'm
Ninja is
absorbing
not the same
bullets.
Kawasaki.
I'm absorbing the bullets, and this is what's gonna happen to the world. Because I saved Tupac, Tupac goes on to live. Tupac becomes president. World peace. Ending of racism. Ending of.
You just made Tupac the Antichrist.
Oh fuck! Did I just make Tupac?
Well, you
Holy
know,
shit, Biggie.
it just is somebody's story. That's the whole problem with narratives. Is if you want to have a hero, then you pre-impose a villain. When in reality, everyone's just trying to find their own variation of what's supposed to be better.
I didn't mean it.
So here-
I didn't.
I'm
Go
dead.
ahead,
So
go
here's
ahead.
my thing with time travel. I just feel like that's like the biggest thing that they all tell. Here's the thing. We can already time travel, guys. Like,
What? That's
technically
impossible.
time
That's
is,
literally impossible.
time is a man-made structure.
Yeah,
We
that's
time travel when we get
crazy.
on a plane into a different time zone. That's time traveling. If we're talking from a strictly just like
The mechanical aspect of
like
it.
it was 8 o'clock when you left and you traveled somewhere where it's still 8 o'clock. So you're still in the same day, essentially, and you've just bought yourself more time.
That's insane. So if
Like
I
if
go
you
to like
just
New
follow
York,
the sun around, you can just keep living like,
Antichrist.
you know.
I can day trade crypto.
Antichrist.
I don't know who that is.
That's just the Christ. Antichrist is just Christ.
Anti-
Tupac is just Christ. We've found it. Jesus is black.
Oh my god.
Very
it's a
probable.
math problem.
So I'm the only person that would go back and save Tupac. That's.
I just
I
All I
can
knew
do
who I
one
was sitting
thing.
with. I don't.
I'm dead. No, for me it's
I
just
gotta
like
save
you
his.
just don't
I gotta
mess
save
with
his
time.
his hologram. They're gonna delete
Just
the.
don't mess
It's
with
on
him.
it's on a tape deck, right? It's on a hard drive in Paramount right now, and Paramount is going to get hit by like a lawsuit that causes them to destroy all their assets.
No, I think the hologram low key is probably gonna be at Hasbro headquarters.
True.
Low key.
This is like the episode 2 of, I keep calling movies episodes, but movie 2 of Terminator, where like they find out that the real guy who put it all together isn't Skynet. It's like some fucking tech guru, and they
So
switch it
hear me
halfway.
out.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, oh god.
What
I
happened?
just lost my train of thought because I thought that was a giant spider crawling up the leg of the chair, and it was just a little tiny tumbleweed stuck in a web or something.
It's all
So, here's the thing: you go back, you save Tupac.
Yes.
Jada never falls in love with Will. We never get Willow. We never get Jaden. Thus, we never have super popularized weird black kids that are making it okay for black kids to feel comfortable.
And then we
Yeah,
never-
but you still got
weird shit.
Kanye, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but Kanye is a different kind of weird than Willow and Jaden.
Well, yeah, and then we never get clean water in Flint because Jaden never goes over there and brings the water machine.
You get
But
what I'm
maybe
saying?
Tupac
Tupac and
stops all
Jada's
of that
kids.
from happening. Yeah, maybe they have kids, and their kids say.
But then what happens to Will? You know?
He enters the
Will-
Matrix.
Will
Does
Will decides to do Matrix. Him and Halle Berry get together, and they're
think
like
so?
the exemplary couple for Hollywood, and they just love each
Not
other.
Tupac and Jada.
No, Tupac and Jada are together, but Tupac and Jada are more so for the black crowd. The mainstream white audience doesn't really accept them as like the main couple because they're like a little too black.
One second. You think so?
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it'd be Will and Halle Berry.
So you think Will made Jada more palatable to white people?
Yep, 100%. Because like most white people can't name like 2 Jada Pinkett movies.
I didn't know
He
who
brought her
Jada
into
really
the
even was to
mainstream.
like
You know what?
all the slap shit.
I don't even know that I can name that. What's the one with her and Queen Latifah?
Set it
With-
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't ever remember
Past
what
Set
it's
It
called.
Off is
I
not
was like,
really.
there's that. I'm trying
And
to
then
think.
you might
I
get
don't
a
think-
Bush in the Matrix. You might get
She was
that.
in the
Maybe
Matrix.
She was, but like
Yeah,
you said,
I was
Oh
like-
shit, she was the one. what was her
Girls
name?
Trip.
Yeah.
But then, like, beyond that, I don't really,
Oh,
you're right,
oh,
I don't
man.
really know what else she
Huh.
was doing.
I want to try and call it out. Booty call? Was that the name of it?
Gator check.
Oh,
Yeah.
Corey's like, I know stuff. What's up?
Pretty.
It's like,
He's like, test me
oh,
again.
man.
Test me again, bitch. I'm ready.
Ask me. It's like
Me, Hermione.
like in
Me.
Black Panther. Ask me, King. Ask me.
What?
Remember Black Panther, Killmonger. But anyway.
You know it's been.
yeah,
it's been too long since I've seen
But
it.
yeah,
for me to
honestly,
remember.
I think Pac and Jada would have been together, and it would have been Will and Holly if I had the ability
But
to
then
go back
Willow
in time
and Jaden don't
I think
exist,
you-
and how
Willow,
do you feel?
Willow and Jaden are essentially there is a version of them in this particular timeline because
They just have a different mom.
Tupac and Jada have kids, and so whatever spirit is in Willow and Jaden, a part of that spirit is going to be in these kids that Tupac and Jada have, and they
And
definitely
when
gonna
they
have
smash with
amazing-ass
Will's kids,
and then Will and Halle Berry are going to have kids that have part of that spirit as well.
and they
Here's
smash,
the thing,
and
though,
then
but
they
do you
become
still think Will,
Jada.
I'm dead.
Yeah, they
Do you
become
think-
they complete the
Do
cycle.
you think that Will and Hallie, like their egos, even coexist for that long? Because here's the thing, I feel like with Will and Jada brings him back down a lot.
think their
and as
ego-
much as
Go
everybody
ahead, go
tries
ahead.
to say that Jada is evil, I think Will Smith has to be an egomaniac. Like there's
I mean,
no
he
way.
he earned it, and yeah, he has to be.
Here's the thing. You don't
And I
earn
think
an
Jada's
ego.
great, too.
Like, that's the
You don't
common
earn it.
misconception.
You don't
Like,
earn an
oh,
ego.
it's okay.
You haven't seen Wild
you
West.
You deserve to be so full of yourself. No one deserves to be full of themselves. I don't care who you are.
No. I
He's
agree.
Fresh
you
Prince, though.
do have to treat people well. You do have
Which
to.
I'm not saying he's going around being a shitty person to everyone. I think he does. But I don't know that he does that without Jada.
But like,
Do you get what I'm saying?
but I think Holly Berry comes to the table and she's like, "Yo, I'm just as big as you," and I think that that's a healthy. But I think that's a healthy competition, though.
I don't think it's a healthy competition. I think it's an egocentric, very toxic relationship.
Unlike the Jada
Where
and
they're just
Will-
like,
Will
we
Smiths.
look good together, and we do this because this is it's kind of like
Why are
a.
y'all trying to stop me from saving Tupac? I just want to save Tupac.
I just want to
That's
make
all.
sure that Ethan Suplee still ends up fit in this butterfly effect timeline.
I would imagine.
So Ethan Suplee was like a really fat kid, and then like he got kind of fat and did My Name Is Earl, and then now he's like super buff fit.
In this time.
But he was in the movie The Butterfly Effect
Yeah.
also, and he was very fat then.
He had
He'll
delivery spikes.
he'll still be in shape in this timeline. He won't be affected.
I don't
thought
know,
about
guys. Will and Jada not getting together, and then we never have the experience of Will slapping Chris.
But that's a good thing,
does
though.
Pac just shoot Chris?
No.
He
No, I
protects
think-
Jada's
On live television?
name.
No, Pac has
By
a
it-
sense of humor, more
Or
likely.
does he pistol whip him on stage just real quick? Just a quick pistol whip.
I think he'll probably talk to him back because I mean by now this is like a 50-year-old.
Oh, this is
Tupac.
classy.
Yeah, maybe
Classic
they-
So
Pac.
he's talking to Pac and he's just like,
Or
hey,
he
yo,
put it
King.
in a fucking bar.
He's like, this is 50-something-year-old Pac, so he's gonna kind of roll up to him, kind of like how Jay-Z would a little bit.
That was
He's
gonna
just
be
gonna
my
be like,
next.
hey, yo, King, don't do that no more, and that's just gonna be that.
The East-West beef would just keep. He would feel emboldened because you just saved his life or whatever, and he would be like, "Oh, I can't die," and then also.
No, he'll be in both. No, but I died though. So my family's rich now because I sacrificed myself to save Tupac.
I don't
But you
think
weren't
that's
born
how that
yet,
works.
so you don't have. You
Exactly.
weren't born yet.
No,
It'd be like a random.
you
they wouldn't be able
aren't
to track
born
you to
yet.
anybody.
Oh shit. No, but they would.
They
bro.
would have
You don't
no
have a
idea
birth
who
record.
you are.
Yeah,
You
that's
would be
true.
a John Doe.
That is true. I would.
But basically,
So no one
the
gets
East-West
nothing.
beef would just keep
No, but
rising.
my-
Yes,
Yeah.
and then Tupac ends up dying anyways. I think
No,
I
but
think-
my,
Every
trying
P. Diddy.
to change.
everybody.
I think the big things that happen in history. Everyone's like, "Oh, I would kill Hitler. I would do this. I
no,
would
but
do
the
that."
East-West
I was
Coast
like,
doesn't. The beef doesn't continue though.
"It does
Pac
because
realized like, yo, I almost died.
here's
Let me
the
change
thing,
my
but
ways.
it wasn't East Coast West that was even doing it. We all know they
That's
had
true.
been trying to kill Pac because they didn't want him to become all the things that you're talking about. So
That's fair.
the powers that be would have killed him anyways. You would have just died trying to save somebody who was going to die anyways.
Man.
And
But
Pac wouldn't want that.
I'd go back
Good
in
friend of
time
the
and try
show.
to win the
Good
hearts
friend
and
of the show,
minds of the
yeah.
powers that be, to never do any bad stuff.
But then
anymore.
if I died trying to save Pac and somebody else tried to kill him, Skylar, that's when you have to step up.
Exactly, yeah.
And
I'd come in from my
sacrifice yourself
super.
for Tupac again.
I would have gone so far in the future
How many people
that
have to die for one life?
We have to- Corey, sorry, bro. You're next. You gotta sacrifice yourself so Tupac can live.
Sure.
If Skylar fails, then it's you. Then it's up to you. So
but I don't fail.
So all these things
that's
to
not
save a
possible.
man that you could just try to live what he was preaching when he was alive. Instead of you taking the inspiration from what he did, which is what he wanted, was
Right.
to influence all
yeah.
to hopefully become,
Christ.
yeah. Exactly. Skylar gets it.
Become Christ. All right. Well, unfortunately, Tupac is no longer with us, but
R.I.P.
the prospects of saving him, it did seem kind of cool in an alternate timeline. That would have been fun. But to end on a lighter note, because we don't want to end on Tupac's death at all. Favorite Tupac song? Go. No, I'm playing. No, actually.
I mean, yes, we could do that.
Oh, we
but,
could do a favorite Tupac song.
Oh, does everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, go for it, Corey.
Oh, I'm gonna be real sad if it's not the actual name of it. Hit 'em up. Is that the?
Hit 'em up, yeah, the
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta go with
perfect,
that one.
Perfect, beautiful. That was actually beautiful. Why? Why did you go with it?
Because it was the preemptive. It was like a catalyst for the culture to like. It made things more tangible and he was able to bring up his group, even though no one remembers that they were all on the song. And although it did lead to tragic events, it did catapult a whole bunch of shit. It was the most authentic fucking song. No, you can tell no one was pushing him to make that song, and he made it a whole fucking video. Yeah. So like, he meant it.
These days, PR would definitely step in and be like, "We're not doing this." But Pog definitely went by the beat of his own drum. Skylar.
Yeah, you guys are gonna call me an old head or something. You're like,
we are. Go ahead, give it to us.
Deep cuts only.
But basically, the one that he
Googled one. It was like deepest cut of Tupac.
Deepest.
When he featured Taylor Swift on Bad Blood, yeah, that one was hold near and dear to my heart because it was a special time in my life that it got me through some heavy shit.
Okay, so Skylar's not taking this seriously. Maybe we should end it on a different high note.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But
go
no,
ahead.
No, I was with it because I was like, oh yeah, Corey will know. Skylar probably a little bit. No.
No. Go ahead, Mo.
Okay,
But tell me your favorite part, though.
Let it be known here that Skylar prefers Taylor Swift to Tupac.
That's fair.
That was just a feature, though. I was like,
yeah.
No,
They were alive at the same time.
No, that was definitely Kendrick Lamar on that song.
you're telling me Kendrick's not Tupac reincarnated? That he's not an alter ego?
Oh my god, I can't. Okay, so my
That's what you
favorite
guys
one.
Go ahead, Mo.
My favorite one is Changes.
Oh, beautiful.
Makes me cry every time.
Changes. Keep on changing.
Because
I like that
kind
one.
of touches on his mental health a bit.
I do. I think it was one of the first times we heard a black man in a rap song talking about killing himself.
Yeah.
Like, and just the thoughts of doing it.
rap
Like,
song,
and just being like, well, like, wake up in the morning and ask myself, like, is life worth living? Should I blast myself?
Yeah.
And then explains why.
Yeah.
Like, where it just feels like for someone like him, that it just feels like you just can't fucking win. That, like, it doesn't matter. Like, my choices that I have in the world aren't really, like, I'm hungry, so that means I have to steal because I don't have these resources, or I just was brought up and, like, I just, the surrounding, this is easier than trying to do better. Like, what's the point of doing better if everybody's just trying to keep kicking me back down, like, and I think, especially for a time like right now, I think everybody just needs to go back and give it a re-listen, because everything that he's talking about, like, he touches on stuff that unfortunately is still happening today, and it's just like, like the cops just want to bother him, like, and he's just like smoking weed,
right?
Like, it's just like, for what? Like, the smallest, like, it's legal in California at this point, and it's just like the amount of people that are still in prison for weed charges,
yeah, it's ridiculous,
is so insane when it's legal in different places of the states, and there are people that are still imprisoned in places that it's legal for weed charges, which is insane.
And people that's touching kids, free it in the mud.
Exactly. They'll go in, like, won't be charged or will spend 5 years in prison, which is crazy. But we know they don't care about the kids. Anyways, this was supposed to be a lighter note.
I know, but basically to say, Pac's message is still very poignant in today's climate. For me, just real quick, it would probably be the song called Pain, just because I feel like it perfectly encapsulates the pain that I know he went through when he was, like, in jail, just being locked up, not being able to be out and, like, reaping the benefits of the fruits of his labor. And then also, the beat of the song, it sounds painful. It's almost as if the music is crying. So it just I think it's just a beautiful piece of art. With that being said, favorite cartoons, y'all. And on a light note,
favorite cartoon?
Yeah. Tupac, the animated series. It was a
I can't stand
5-season run. No, but honestly, favorite cartoon growing up. No, favorite cartoon growing up.
Maybe Rugrats.
Rugrats. That is fair. Why though?
Just the adventure aspect of it, and just I literally basically kind of fucking grew up with them.
True. Yeah. True. Skylar, what about you?
I remember there being a show called Mr. Hell, and it was like I had like vague memories of it, but I just remember being up late and being on channels I wasn't supposed to be on, and then yeah, it was like a sketch comedy, but it was like a cavalcade of cartoon characters or whatever, but. Yeah, it was like a sketch but cartoon show.
Was that
Kind of like Ren and Stimpy.
Was that Cartoon Network or?
No, it was like
Spike.
HBO or something.
Okay, maybe HBO. Because
But-
I remember there was like a weird point in time where Spike TV started trying to do
Ren and
adult
Stimpy is
cartoons.
my main thing.
I feel like this isn't real.
It's not real? Mr. Hell? You didn't find it?
No, it's
Maybe. Okay, is it this?
Is there a cartoon?
There we go. Yep. Oh my God. See,
it's
What are we
Mr.
watching?
Hell show.
it's the Mr. Hell show.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then that's what I
Oh,
remember.
so that's what you was watching.
It's
Yeah.
a fully animated sketch comedy show featuring Mr. Hell. Sulfurous. Sulfurous.
Yeah.
I like Cow and Chicken too.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
sardonic anti-hero.
Yeah, Cow and Chicken was pretty good. But yeah, it looked like the
I
timeline.
did not
It
like
looks like the timeline's up. It
Yeah.
was 2000 to 2000.
I just had to check. I was like, it feels maybe not real, but it might be just real and obscure as fuck.
Skylar
This is the Real Talk podcast.
Skylar was
All
like, I have
talk.
a more edgy cartoon than all of you guys.
Right?
I'm gonna be
He's
edgy.
just like, let me pull it out.
Let me be edgy.
Uh,
But what about you, Mo?
it was really dependent on if we had cable or not. If we didn't, it was Chalk Zone.
Chalk Zone.
That shit
okay.
captured my goddamn
Chalk
imagination.
Zone. It was on what, CBS?
I
It
think
came on
PBS, I
Nick-
think.
No, because so
Maybe?
originally
I don't know.
originally it was Nickelodeon, but I remember Nickelodeon would rent out some of their shows
Yeah.
to like
I was like,
to
it
network
depended because sometimes
So I think it
you
was
could watch.
CBS.
You could
Also
just
on
teleport.
public television, there wasn't too many. I did enjoy Arthur. Arthur was lit. That was
Another
PBS.
friend of the show, Arthur.
Arthur.
So he's an aardvark?
Yeah.
Ooh, also X-Men the animated series.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was fucking
Oh.
amazing.
Then probably one of the best themes.
For me, it was so
Instrumental.
plot oriented.
Instrumental.
It felt like there was just so much to follow. And then like if you didn't watch them in series or whatever, and you just caught them randomly, yeah, I would be like, oh wait, why do we
What
care about this
happened?
character? Who's this guy? I don't know what's going on.
Wait, what you said?
X-Men. He's saying
X-Men,
it
it's
was
like
too,
a plot. It's like
yeah.
Degrassi or something. You got to watch them all in a row. If you just catch them on a random Saturday, you're like, okay.
But low
I guess-
key though, that was also like what set it apart.
Yeah.
And, made it a little distinctive from what was out there. But,
Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab.
yep.
Those were definitely.
Yeah, having Cartoon Network as a whole growing up
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yes.
That's what I was saying. Like, it really. My mom hated Cartoon Network.
Well,
yeah.
Which in part was also why I was like, So we would go to, like, when I would go babysit or whatever, and, like, the family would always have cable, you know, because they can afford a fucking babysitter.
Yeah, you know.
And I'm like, I was babysitting at, like, the age of 10, which is
Sure.
ridiculous
Well,
that people were trusting me with their fucking
Slightly
children.
older children.
Yeah, I'm watching, like, kids that, like, babies and, like, kids that are, like, 4 and 5 at
Cable,
10.
though. But you
But
got
I
the
was like,
cable.
but they're like, oh, we're just going to go out. The kids will be asleep. And if they need anything, they know you're going to be here, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I was like, yes, I get to watch cable all night and I get paid. So I'm going to have $20 whole for the 6 or like
Hey.
4 to 5 hours that
Oh,
this family's
shit.
going to be out, you know? $20!
Which back in the day was
A lot,
something,
yeah. I was like, hell yeah, $20. But yeah, so I would definitely sneak to watch Cartoon Network when I was not at my mother's house. And those were the cartoons. And then Powerpuff, yeah, Dexter. I'm trying to think. I watched Johnny Bravo,
Yeah, which was. Yeah,
but
a
it
great
was
cartoon.
never really one that I was like, yeah, let me watch it. I just watched it like here and there. Which, by the way, very adult cartoon.
It was a very adult cartoon, but I feel like it was teaching us as kids that like misogyny
is
won't
not
get
cool.
you
Yeah.
by. Yeah,
It was just like, this guy is the
they was-
most epitome of
Right.
like it was just like a play on the jock douche that like Hollywood kept trying to tell us like, this is what's cool.
Yep.
And that cartoon was one of the first
it was
ones that
very
was like, no, it's
sophisticated.
fucking not. Like,
Very
women hate
sophisticated.
this shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is gross
Yep.
and unbecoming.
And the fact that they were trying to teach us that. as
The message I
children
got was like, this is a role model to model your entire personality after.
Right.
Yeah.
Big chest,
But
big
you wasn't,
hair.
but you
Exactly.
wasn't like really paying attention fully because he never got the girl. And,
Exactly,
like,
but that's
in any
it's
episode.
the Sisyphean
Are you trying
parable.
to say sissification?
It's the Sisyphean, but basically pushing up the rock or whatever. There's like a romance to that, like trying to get something and failing and never, but actually never failing if you don't fail.
Never
Yeah, attempting.
Yeah.
Sisyphean
I was gonna
tax.
say Jimmy Neutron. If it was
Ooh,
Nickelodeon,
yeah.
Jimmy Neutron started to get to that point where you were kind of too
Angry
old to watch.
Beavers.
Yes, you're kind of
Angry
too old to
Beavers.
watch
Yeah.
cartoons. Like, well, I was into Blue's Clues too, but that's also because I had younger cousins.
Jimmy
so it was
Neutron
just like,
was still like I feel like that was.
it was
still-
in her, but you were starting to get to
Okay,
like
yeah,
Johnny's age.
All right, it was like
you
the
were
tail
like,
end.
yeah.
That's fair. That's
But
fair.
it was a good fucking show because the
It
movie
did-
was
it did have
good.
characters.
And then-
Gene was
Yes.
a great character. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yes, Rugrats was one of mine too. Nickelodeon. I'm trying to think.
And also too, Jimmy Neutron was notable for being like one of the first like CG series that like actually looked good for
Yeah.
the time. Because by the time it looked really
Yeah,
it was
true,
pretty
true,
fluid. Yeah.
true. Yeah, I think a lot of the other shows were more so. Go ahead.
I would say Ben 10 for me.
Mm.
Ben 10 was definitely like towards the tail end of childhood, but I just think the concept was probably one of the greatest concepts
It was
for
a cool show,
a kid
yeah.
show.
I lost count of
There's
the aliens or whatever.
Like
They
10,000.
should have been Ben 3. So you're like, oh, the big strong one, the water breathing one, and then the one that can fly.
You make it
That's
10,
all we need.
You make it 10 because from a business standpoint, they're like, we can sell 10 versions of these aliens to kids.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, you could turn it into 10 aliens. So now at the toy store, you got these 10 aliens plus various variation of the 10. So it was just from a business standpoint, smart as hell. And then a creative standpoint, we never really seen no shit like that before. He could turn into 10 unique aliens, which allows the show to keep a fresh sort of unique approach like through every episode. And then he's going on an adventure with his granddad.
Is every alien its own soul? Like it used to be an individual person, or is it like Avatar, where it's like
It's very much so him the whole time. It's not like, oh, I'm from a past life I lived on this planet. Ben is very much so in control of the alien body.
Are there only
that he governs.
10 species of aliens throughout the entire universe of Ben 10, or is he only able to, for some reason, change into only 10 of them, but there's actually hundreds and thousands and millions?
No, it's like that. Towards the end of the series, he's able to transform into like over 10,000 aliens. Yeah.
They should have just called it like Ben.
There's one where they call him Ben 10,000, but Ben 10 is just
It just
more
jumps straight. He
marketable
doesn't
name.
start earning it one at a time. It's just like straight, just 10,000. That's it.
No, he's earning he's earning them, but like there's an episode where he travels into the future and meets his future self and sees
That's my
all of the,
whole thing is traveling into the future.
He sees all
I've
of the
established
aliens
that.
he gets, but yeah, so it's Ben 10 for me just because I think the concept is so great.
You know how you just watched we just watched all the Harry Potter movies and stuff, and we all did that. Let's do it with the Ben 10.
What with Ben 10 and just
Yeah.
watch all of the Ben 10s?
Exactly.
Oh,
I gotta
well,
see this boy go to the future.
I would be down for that. It's honestly a great universe.
Hologram
they
All right.
created.
Any other cartoons?
Oh,
We're starting a whole nother podcast
right.
Yeah,
We
about
just-
Ben 10
podcast
right
about
now.
Ben
10,000
10.
episodes.
And then two for
And
me,
then we're gonna-
another one is Yu Yu Hakusho. It's a great anime.
Shit, that's the
I
coolest
loved it
one.
because primarily for the
should pick
theme
that.
song. Anybody out there that's seen it, you know it has a great theme song. And
You
then
picked two animes though. I don't think that counts as cartoons, especially kids cartoons. You know?
Yes, it does.
Well, Yu Yu Hakusho was out when I was 11 years old, and it's one of the things I would come home from school and watch every day. So yeah, it definitely constitutes as a cartoon because before we knew it was anime, we called it cartoon.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, so we wasn't going to school being like anime when we was just like cartoons. Like this is the cartoon that I fuck
Yeah,
with.
and they're like,
I'd call
oh,
it
that's a
tsunamis.
weird, yeah, that's a weird cartoon, or like that's how they
It's a
were
weird
like,
cartoon,
oh,
yeah.
that's like those Japanese cartoons or whatever.
Right, exactly. And,
I thought they were all
They're
called
cool.
hentai back then.
and
Way cool.
that was one of the reasons why I enjoyed Yu Yu Hakusho is just because it was a great coming of age story, and you got to really grow up with the character.
He dies in episode 1.
He died. Yeah, he dies in episode 1, and he becomes a spirit detective, which is
A demon.
spirit realm protector.
And he's like goes to people's dreams.
Yeah, and he saves the spirit world from evil demons, and he learns karate and gets to go to a cool tournament and shit. It's this is pretty compelling stuff. But anyway, I think we've reached that time. Corey, you wanna open the door for us?
Sure, I think we've searched around this universe enough. Maybe you guys have had enough fun for yourselves here, and then you can have it another time. And apparently that's how the internet works. Thank you for being a part of this. We can maybe do this again sometime. We can hear. Thank you again for taking the time to be a part of this. And moving forward, maybe we can all get 10 alien versions of ourselves and all move into the future and have
Sounds stressful as
an
fuck.
anime adventure. Until then, have the goodest kind of time. Thank you very much. And 1, 2, 3. Hey, we did it.
Goddamn.